What's good, friends? Alex here. It's been a minute, and I realized after talking to a few of you that a lot of people have no idea what's going on in my camp. So I thought I'd do a quick little update, and I'm also going to do a quick little PSA. So we are in mid-December right now. In June of this year, June 13th of this year, I had a stroke, which we now know it was due to going into heart failure. That's a very, very long story, but that's what kind of kickstarted this year. The day after my birthday, I ended up in the hospital with a stroke, and my heart's ejection fraction was only 15%, which means only 15%. It was pumping at 15% essentially. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Then I was sent to a transplant clinic. So I've been going to Tampa General's transplant clinic ever since. And that team has been incredible. I've gone through several procedures. I've had a cardiac cath, which is essentially when they put a needle through your vein in your neck, go down to your heart to find out the pressure. That was the first bit of good news. Even though my heart is only pumping at 15%, it's enough pressure to uh, to give blood to my body, which is why I'm kind of still upright. So I've had several procedures. One of them was a stress test, which is the deciding factor of whether or not you need a transplant. I found out that I was 4 points away from needing a transplant. So there's something called your VO2. It's a chemical in your body that gets released when lactic acid, when your body releases lactic acid. So basically, my heart was very, very close from needing a transplant, but thankfully didn't need it. So what that means is that I will not need a transplant right away, but that's the only solution for the condition that I have. It's a rare condition. I've had an MRI now because since back in September, I was supposed to get an MRI so that I could get a defibrillator installed. Now, I've been wearing a defibrillator since I came out of the hospital. It's a wearable defibrillator, which is it's basically like a sports bra kind of thing with the shocks and an EKG, always scanning your heart. I haven't needed it, thankfully. But the true safety net is putting a defibrillator inside of your heart. So I got my MRI. I'm going to see my cardiologist tomorrow to find out how that goes. And the MRI is going to give essentially the map for another doctor to essentially put the defibrillator inside of my heart. And that one, they open a little slice here on the side of your arm. They run a lead through your veins, and then they hook this defibrillator in your heart. So all of this, you can imagine, has been an absolute mind f. It's been very heavy mentally. There's a lot of details that I will not get into unless you're interested. Just because it's just too emotionally taxing to have this in the public. But let's just say that even though everybody, quote unquote, is dying, dealing with this level of timelines, having to plan your life, your well-being of your family based on the timeline that you have left, has been something that I just wasn't ready for. And to not get too emotional here, what I will say is PSA time. Most of my nurses have all said this to me, most in my procedures. They've all been incredibly thankful for how polite I am, or how nice I am towards them, which makes me insane because I'm kind of like, what are they doing to these poor nurses, right? Like, what are they like? Their job is to save your life. So I'm like, what are they doing? So the PSA is just be nice to people. It's that simple. Not because it's the holidays, not because, any, celestial reason, just because respect is human, right? Like, be nice to people. Just be kind to people, please. It is a little bit hard for me to understand how these nurses find somebody being polite to them shocking. It just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, that is it. Be nice to people, including yourself, because you are people. That's one of my many lessons. If you want to talk, let me know. I'm an open book, as most of you know. If you have questions, if you're interested in what's going on, if you have just any type of questions, hit me up. Yeah, this is very personal, but I wanted to be open and share with you guys what's going on my end. So I hope you guys are well. Happy holidays. Enjoy yourselves. Much